Close your eyes for a moment and imagine you are standing in a narrow alley somewhere in medieval France. The year is 1347. Rain drips from the eaves of crooked wooden buildings, and somewhere in the distance a dog barks at something unseen. Your hands are shaking, but not from the cold. They are shaking because you have not eaten in 2 days, and because tonight you're going to do something there is no coming back from. Your target is a man you have never met. A baron who 3 weeks ago evicted your family from their home to make room for more sheep. He does not know you exist. He would not recognize you if you passed him on the street. And yet in the next few hours you will try to end his life with a rusty dagger and a prayer. This is the reality of the medieval assassin. Not the sleek, shadowy figure from Hollywood. Not the mysterious loner trained in mountaintop monasteries. Just a desperate person with nothing left to lose and a blade that is probably about to break. You think you know what it was like to be an assassin in the Middle Ages. You have seen the movies. You have played the video games. You have imagined yourself as the cool, silent killer who moves through the darkness like a ghost. But the truth is far stranger, far darker, and far more terrifying. The truth is being a medieval assassin seriously sucked, and you would not have survived a single night. Would you like to know why? Would you like to understand what it really took to become a shadow in a world that wanted you dead? Then stay with me tonight as we walk through the cobblestones of history and uncover the grim, hidden reality of the medieval assassin. Before we begin, if you enjoy these journeys into the forgotten corners of history, please take a moment to subscribe to The Calm Historian and like this video. It truly helps the channel grow, and it lets me know you want more stories like this one. Now dim the lights and settle in, because we are about to step into a world where one wrong step means a rope around your neck, and where even success is just another name for running for your life. The year is 1347, and you are crouched in the darkness behind a butcher's stall in a town you do not know. Your name does not matter. Your past does not matter. All that matters is the name you were given 2 nights ago by a man in a hood who slid a coin purse across a tavern table and vanished into the rain. The name belongs to a baron, a fat man with a cold smile who evicted your family from their home 3 weeks ago to make room for more sheep. Your mother died on the road. Your sister is somewhere in the city selling the only thing she has left, and you have not eaten in 2 days. So here you are, hidden in the dark with a dagger that is probably too dull and a plan that is probably too stupid. You do not want to do this. Every fiber of your body screams at you to run, but you have nowhere to run to. Your hands tremble as you grip the blade, and you think about how your life has led you to this moment. You were not always like this. Once you had a home, once you had a family, once you had hope. But hope is a luxury for people who can afford to eat. Hope is for people who have not been ground down by the slow, relentless cruelty of a world that does not care if you live or die. You became an assassin not because you wanted to, but because the world left you no other choice. You are not a mysterious loner trained in a hidden monastery. You are not a shadow warrior with a code of honor. You're just a desperate soul who ran out of options and decided that dying on your feet was better than starving on your knees. The man who hired you said the baron would be alone tonight. He said the guard would be drunk and the doors would be unlocked. He was lying. Of course he was lying. People like him always lie. But what are you supposed to do? You have already taken a coin. You have already made the promise. And if you back out now, they will find you anyway. There is no escape. There is only the blade and the night, and the terrible weight of what you are about to do. You think about the baron. You think about how he sleeps in a warm bed while you shiver in the rain. You think about how he eats roasted meat while you dream of bread. You think about how he does not know your name and does not care that you exist. And you feel something stir in your chest. Not anger, not hate, something colder, something that feels like the end of everything you used to be. You take a breath. You tighten your grip on the dagger, and you step out into the alley. The night swallows you whole. Your footsteps are silent on the wet cobblestones. Your heart is pounding so loud you are sure someone must hear it. But no one does. You are invisible. You are nothing. And that is exactly what you need to be. This is the truth about the medieval assassin. Not the legend. Not the myth. Just a broken person holding a cheap blade and hoping to survive long enough to see the dawn. And as you move through the shadows, you cannot help but wonder if you are the hunter or the prey. You are about to find out. But first you have to reach the castle. You have to slip past the guards. You have to cross the courtyard. You have to climb the wall. You have to find the Baron. And you have to do it all without making a sound. The odds are against you. They have always been against you. But you have come this far. And there is no turning back now. The only thing waiting for you behind you is starvation. The only thing waiting for you ahead is death. So you choose the death. You choose the blade. You choose the dark. And you walk toward your fate with nothing but a rusty dagger and a prayer that maybe tonight the world will be kind to you for once. It will not be kind. It has never been kind. But you hope anyway, because hope is the last thing they can take from you. And you're not ready to give it up yet. Not tonight. Not like this. You have decided to become an assassin. Or rather, the world has decided for you. You have taken a coin. You have whispered the name. You have stepped into the darkness with a blade in your hand and a prayer on your lips. But now comes the part no one tells you about. Now comes the training. Or more accurately, the complete and total lack of training. You see in the movies the hero assassin spends years in a hidden monastery. He learns from a wise old master. He practices his craft in candlelit chambers. He emerges as a weapon wrapped in flesh. The reality of medieval Europe was nothing like that. There were no hidden monasteries. There were no wise masters. There was only you and the night and the terrible realization that you have no idea what you are doing. You grew up on a farm. You know how to plow a field and milk a cow. You know how to mend a fence and harvest wheat. You do not know how to kill a man. You have never stabbed anyone. You have never strangled anyone. You have never even thrown a punch in anger. But tonight you are expected to end a life. Tonight you are expected to be a shadow. Tonight you are expected to be something you are not. And the worst part is there is no one to teach you. No one to show you where to strike. No one to tell you how to move. No one to warn you about the sounds a dying man makes. You are alone. Completely and utterly alone. And you are terrified. The man who hired you gave you the dagger and the coin and the name. He did not give you a lesson. He did not give you a plan. He just pointed you toward the castle and wished you luck. So here you are, standing in the dark with a weapon you barely know how to hold and a target you have never seen. You try to remember what you have learned. You remember watching soldiers fight in the town square. You remember the way they moved, the way they thrust, the way they parried. But watching is not doing, and you're not a soldier. You are just a broken farmer with a rusty knife. You try to imagine how you will do it. Will you sneak into his chamber and strike while he sleeps? Will you wait in the shadows and attack from behind? Will you poison his wine and watch him choke? You have no idea. You have no training. You have no experience. You have nothing but desperation and a prayer. And desperation is a poor teacher. It makes you sloppy. It makes you careless. It makes you do things you would never do if you had the luxury of time. But you do not have time. You have a single night. A single chance, a single moment where everything must go perfectly or you will die. You think about the odds. You think about how many things can go wrong. You think about how one wrong step, one misplaced foot, one too heavy breath could be the end of everything. And then you think about what happens if you succeed. You think about the coin. You think about the food you could buy. You think about your sister and the life you could give her. And for just a moment, you feel something like hope. It is a dangerous feeling. Hope makes you reckless. Hope makes you believe that you might actually survive this. But hope is also the only thing keeping you moving forward. So you cling to it like a drowning man clings to driftwood. You do not know how to be an assassin. You do not know how to kill a man. But you do know how to survive. You have been surviving your entire life. You have been hungry and cold and frightened and alone. You have lost everything that mattered. You have seen your family die. You have seen your home burned. You have seen the world break you again and again and again. And you are still standing. That is your training. That is your preparation. That is what makes you dangerous. Not skill. Not experience. Just pure stubborn refusal to die. So you take a breath. You tighten your grip on the dagger. And you step into the night. You do not know what you're doing. But you're going to do it anyway. Because the only thing worse than dying in the attempt is dying in the attempt and not even trying. You have made it past the guards. You have crossed the courtyard. You have climbed the wall. You are standing in the shadows outside the Baron's chamber with your heart pounding so loud you are sure someone must hear it. Your hand is on a dagger. Your breath is shallow. Your mind is racing. This is the moment. The moment you have been dreading and craving and praying for. This is the moment where everything changes. You push open the door. It creaks. You freeze. Nothing moves. You step inside. The chamber is warm and dark and smells of wine and wood smoke. There's a bed in the corner. There's a figure in the bed. The Baron is asleep. Or at least you think he is asleep. He might be pretending. He might be waiting for you. You have no idea. You have no way to know. This is the problem with being an assassin in the Middle Ages. You have no training. You have no experience. You have no backup. You have no way to tell if the target is really asleep or just lying in wait. You have to trust your instincts. You have to trust your luck. And you have to trust that the person who hired you did not just send you to your death. You think about the coin. You think about the promise. You think about your sister and the life you could give her. And you step forward. Your feet are silent on the stone floor. Your hand is steady on the blade. You're almost there. You're almost at the bed. You can see the Baron's face. He looks peaceful. He looks harmless. He looks like a man who has never had to wonder where his next meal is coming from. And for a moment, you feel something strange. Something like pity. This man ruined your life. This man took everything from you. This man is the reason you are standing here with a dagger in your hand. And yet he is just a man. A man who is about to die. A man who will never see the sun rise again. A man whose life will end in the next few seconds. And you are the one who will end it. You raise the dagger. Your hand is trembling. Your heart is pounding. Your mind is screaming at you to run. But you do not run. You cannot run. You have come too far. You have sacrificed too much. You have lost everything you had to lose. And now you're going to finish what you started. But just as you are about to strike, the Baron opens his eyes. He looks at you. He does not scream. He does not call for help. He just looks at you with a strange, calm expression and says something you do not expect. He says, "I was wondering when they would send someone." Your hand freezes. Your mind races. What does he mean? Who is they? Did he know you were coming? Did he hire you himself? Is this a trap? You have 1,000 questions and no time to ask them. The Baron smiles. He tells you that he has been expecting someone like you for years. He tells you that he has enemies everywhere. He tells you that the man who hired you is not your friend. He tells you that the man who hired you is the one who really wants you dead. Your blood runs cold. Your grip loosens on the dagger. You do not know what to believe. You do not know who to trust. You do not know anything anymore. And in that moment of hesitation, everything falls apart. The door bursts open. Garde-pouring. Torches flare. Swords are drawn. You are surrounded. You are trapped. You're going to die. The Baron is laughing. The guards are shouting. And you're standing in the middle of it all with a dagger in your hand and nowhere to run. This is the reality of being a medieval assassin. Not a clean kill in the dark. Not a silent escape into the night. Just a desperate fool who trusted the wrong person and walked into a trap. You thought you were the hunter, but you were the prey all along. And now there is no escape. There is only the blade and the dark and the terrible silence that follows. You're standing in the middle of the Baron's chamber with a dagger in your hand and guards closing in from every direction. Torchlight flickers across their steel. The Baron is laughing. Your heart is hammering. Your mind is screaming. You are about to die. But then something strange happens. One of the guards stumbles. Another trips over his own sword. A third is shoved aside by a figure in a hood that appears from nowhere. The figure grabs your arm and pulls you toward the window. You do not hesitate. You run. You leap. You crash through the glass and land in the darkness below. The guards are shouting. The Baron is screaming. But you are gone. You are bleeding and broken and barely able to breathe, but you are alive. You crawl through the mud. You drag yourself into the shadows. You collapse against a wall and try to remember how to breathe. And then the figure appears again. The hooded stranger who saved your life. The figure kneels beside you and says something you do not expect. The stranger tells you that the Baron was not your target. The stranger tells you that the Baron was a trap. The stranger tells you that you were set up from the very beginning. Your head spins. Your vision blurs. You do not understand. You were told the Baron was the target. You were told the job was simple. You were told you would be paid and you would be gone. But none of that was true. None of it was real. The stranger tells you that the man who hired you and the Baron are working together. They wanted you dead. They needed you to fail. They needed you to be caught so that the Baron could use you as a scapegoat. You were never meant to succeed. You were never meant to survive. You were just a pawn, a disposable pawn in a game that you did not even know you were playing. And now you are bleeding in the mud with a stranger who saved your life and no idea what to do next. The stranger asks you why you took the job. You tell them about your family. You tell them about the eviction. You tell them about your mother and your sister and how you had nothing left to lose. The stranger listens. The stranger says nothing. And then the stranger asks you a question that changes everything. What if I told you that the Baron is not your enemy? The words hang in the air like smoke. You do not understand. The Baron took everything from you. The Baron ruined your life. The Baron is the reason you are bleeding in the mud. How could he not be your enemy? The stranger explains. The Baron did not evict your family. He was just following orders. The real enemy is the man who gave the order. The real enemy is the man who hired you. The real enemy is the man who set the trap. That man is someone else entirely. Someone powerful. Someone cruel. Someone who has been playing you like a chess piece from the very beginning. Your stomach turns. Your blood runs cold. You think about the man in the tavern, the coin purse, the whispered name. You thought he was your salvation, but he was your destruction all along. The stranger watches you. The stranger waits. And then the stranger asks you a second question. Do you want revenge? You do not answer. You do not need to. You both know the answer. You have nothing left to lose. You have no reason to live. You have no reason to hope. But you do have a reason to kill. And that is exactly what the stranger was counting on. The stranger tells you that there is another job. A harder job. A darker job. A job that will take you to the heart of the conspiracy and put you face to face with the man who destroyed your life. The stranger tells you it will cost you everything. The stranger tells you it will probably kill you. The stranger tells you that if you walk away now, you might still survive. But you're not walking away. You're never walking away. Because survival is not enough. You want more than survival. You want justice. You want revenge. You want to watch the man who ruined your life die in the same way he made you die inside every single day for the last month. And so you accept. You say yes. You take the new coin. You take the new name. And you step back into the darkness with a fire in your heart and blood still dripping from your wounds. This time you're not a pawn. This time you're not a victim. This time you're the one in control. Or at least that is what you tell yourself. Because in the world of medieval assassination, nobody is ever really in control. Nobody is ever really safe. And nobody is ever really sure who to trust. You have learned that lesson the hard way. But you have survived. And survival is the only thing that matters now. You have a new name and a new target and a fire burning in your chest that you have not felt in years. The stranger who saved your life told you where to find the man who destroyed everything. The man who gave the order. The man who set the trap. The man who played you for a fool and left you to die in a baron's chamber. You know his name now. You know his face. You know where he sleeps and where he eats and where he goes when he wants to feel powerful. And you're going to kill him. But first you have to get close to him. And that is the problem. The man is not like the baron. The man is not a fat nobleman with a few drunken guards. The man is a lord. A real lord with a real castle and real soldiers and real power. He has been expecting an assassin for years. He has survived a dozen attempts on his life. He is paranoid and ruthless and utterly without mercy. Getting close to him is almost impossible. But you have no choice. You have to try. So you do what all desperate assassins do. You improvise. You watch the Lord's castle for 3 days. You learn the guard rotations. You learn the servant schedules. You learn which doors are locked and which doors are left open. You learn that the Lord has a weakness, a secret, a flaw that you can exploit. You learn that the Lord has a mistress, a beautiful woman who visits him every Tuesday night under the cover of darkness. She comes through a hidden door in the garden wall. She slips past the guards like a ghost. She disappears into the Lord's private chambers and does not emerge until dawn. You watch her. You follow her. You learn her name. You learn her routine. You learn that she is the key to everything. Because the Lord trusts her. The Lord loves her. The Lord would do anything for her. And that makes her the perfect weapon. You approach her in the market. You do not threaten her. You do not harm her. You just talk to her. You tell her a story. A story about a family who lost everything. A story about a mother who died on the road. A story about a sister who is selling herself just to survive. She listens. She says nothing, but you can see the conflict in her eyes. She is not a monster. She's just a woman in love. And love makes people do terrible things. You do not ask her to betray the Lord. You do not ask her to help you kill him. You just ask her to tell him something. A small thing. A harmless thing. A thing that will make him let his guard down for just a moment. She agrees. You do not know why. Maybe she pities you. Maybe she hates the Lord. Maybe she just wants to see what will happen. It does not matter. She agrees. And that changes everything. The next Tuesday night, she visits the Lord as usual. She slips through the hidden door. She climbs the stairs. She enters his chamber. And she tells him the thing you asked her to tell. She tells him that someone is coming. Someone who knows the truth. Someone who knows about the eviction and the trap and the man who gave the order. The Lord is not afraid. The Lord is amused. The Lord tells her that he has survived worse. He tells her that he has killed better men. He tells her that anyone who comes for him will end up dead in a ditch. And then he does something he should not do. He dismisses his guards. He sends them away. He wants to be alone with his mistress. He wants to forget about the world outside. He wants to be vulnerable for just one night. That is your moment. That is the opening you've been waiting for. You slip through the same hidden door. You climb the same stairs. You enter the same chamber. The Lord does not see you. He is too busy laughing, too busy drinking, too busy believing he is safe. You draw your dagger. You step closer. You're almost there. You're almost within striking distance. And then the Lord turns around. He sees you. He smiles. He says, I was wondering when you would get here. And just like that, the trap springs shut. The mistress is gone. The guards are everywhere. And you're standing in the middle of it all with a dagger in your hand and nowhere to run. You have been played again, used again, betrayed again. The mistress was never on your side. She was always loyal to the Lord. She told him everything. She warned him about you. She led you right into his hands. And now there is no escape. There is only the Lord and his guards and the terrible silence that follows. You have lost. You have lost everything. And there is nothing left to do but wait for the end. But then something strange happens. Something you do not expect. The Lord laughs. He tells you that he is impressed. He tells you that no one has ever gotten this close before. He tells you that he has a proposition for you. A job. A real job. A job that will pay more than you could ever imagine. He says he needs someone like you. Someone desperate. Someone clever. Someone who knows how to survive. He asks if you're interested. You do not answer. You do not need to. You're still alive. And in the world of medieval assassination, that is the only thing that matters. The Lord's proposition hangs in the air like smoke. You are standing in his chamber, surrounded by his guards, still bleeding from wounds you barely remember. He is offering you a way out, a way to survive, a way to make everything you have suffered mean something. And you hate him for it. You hate him for making you an offer you cannot refuse. You hate him for seeing through you. You hate him for knowing that you would rather live as his tool than die as his enemy. But you do not say no. You cannot say no, because saying no means dying, and dying means letting him win. So you say yes. You say yes, and you hate yourself for it. You say yes, and you become everything you swore you would never be. You say yes, and you step into a life that is even darker than the one you left behind. The Lord gives you a new name and a new purpose. He tells you that you're no longer a desperate peasant with a rusty dagger. You're now his shadow, his blade, his secret weapon. You will do what he cannot do himself. You will kill who he cannot kill openly. You will be the darkness that moves through his enemies like a whisper. And in return, he will give you protection and coin and a place to sleep that is not a gutter. It sounds like a dream. It sounds like everything you ever wanted. But it is not a dream. It is a nightmare. Because the Lord does not trust you. He will never trust you. He knows what you are. He knows what you have done. He knows that you would kill him if you had the chance. And so he keeps you on a leash. A short leash. A tight leash. A leash that could snap at any moment. He gives you jobs. Dark jobs. Brutal jobs. Jobs that make you wonder if you have lost your soul entirely. You kill for him. You kill for his enemies. You kill for his rivals. You kill for his convenience. You kill so often that you lose count of the faces and the names and the screams. You become a machine. A cold, empty machine that exists only to serve. And somewhere along the way, you forget why you started. You forget the family you lost. You forget the mother who died on the road. You forget the sister who sold herself to survive. You forget the fire that burned in your chest when you first took the coin. All that is left is the blade and the dark and the endless parade of targets. You are good at it. You're very good at it. You have learned the skills you never had. You have learned how to move and strike and vanish. You have learned how to read the shadows and predict the danger. You have become everything you never thought you could be. But you have also become nothing. A ghost. A rumor. A name that is whispered in fear and forgotten in relief. You are successful. You are wealthy. You are alive. But you are alone. The Lord does not trust you. The guards do not like you. The other servants do not know you. You are a stranger in your own skin, and you cannot remember the last time you felt something real. And then one night, everything changes. You're sitting in your dark corner at the end watching the door the way you always do. And a woman walks in. She is not beautiful. She is not wealthy. She is just a woman. But there is something about her that makes your heart stop. Something about the way she moves. Something about the way she looks at the world. Something about the way she reminds you of someone you lost a long time ago. You watch her. You follow her. You learn her name. You learn her story. She is a widow. Her husband died in a war that the Lord started. She has nothing left. She sells herbs in the market and dreams of a better life. And you know you should stay away. You know that caring about anyone is dangerous. You know that the Lord would use her against you. But you do not stay away. You cannot stay away. Because for the first time in years, you feel something. Something that is not rage. Something that is not fear. Something that is not the cold, empty hunger of survival. You feel hope. And hope is the most dangerous thing in the world. Because hope makes you weak. Hope makes you careless. Hope makes you forget that you are a weapon and weapons do not get to love. The Lord watches you from the shadows. The Lord sees everything. The Lord knows about the woman. And the Lord smiles. Because he knows that you have finally given him the one thing he has been waiting for. A weakness, a vulnerability, a reason to tighten the leash until you cannot breathe. You're not just an assassin anymore. You are a weapon with a heart, and that makes you dangerous to everyone, especially yourself.